Greetings Warhammer enthusiast. Before you stands a voice assistant of the podcast, dedicated to spreading the greater good. If you find this information useful, please do not hesitate to leave a like and subscribe. Together, we shall explore the depths of the Warhammer universe and share in its wonders.
Commander Farsight, also known as Shozo Violash over Kais Mont'ka or simply Oshova, is a legendary figure within the Warhammer 40k universe, specifically within the Tau Empire. Born on the Violash September, Oshova rose through the ranks to become one of the most skilled and respected Tau military leaders. The Farsight Enclaves, a group of breakaway Tau colonies, are led by this enigmatic figure. Although it is said that Commander Farsight has been leading the Enclaves for over 3 centuries, this far exceeds the typical lifespan of a Tau Fire caste member. There are several theories attempting to explain this longevity. One possibility is that another individual has taken up the mantle of Commander Farsight, maintaining the legacy of the original leader. Another theory suggests that Oshova may have found a way to extend his life through technological means. The Farsight Enclaves follow a strongly martial tradition inspired by the Violash September, the birthplace of Commander Farsight. This hot-blooded approach emphasizes the importance of military prowess, courage, and discipline. As a result, the Farsight Enclaves are known for their skilled warriors and advanced battle strategies. In addition to his exceptional tactical and strategic skills, Commander Farsight is also renowned for his signature weapon, the Dawn Blade. Radiating with an unknown energy, the Dawn Blade possesses a cutting edge sharp enough to slice through solid rock with ease. In combat, Farsight has used the weapon to devastating effect, cleaving through enemies and armored vehicles alike. The blade's lethal prowess and mysterious energy make it an invaluable asset in Farsight's arsenal. Unbeknownst to its wielder, the Dawn Blade harbors a secret power that extends beyond its cutting capabilities. Crafted from rare chronophagic alloys, the weapon absorbs the remaining natural lifespan of its victims and transfers it to its owner. This extraordinary property is the key to Farsight's exceptional longevity, which has allowed him to live and fight for over 3 centuries. Overall, Commander Farsight is a fascinating figure within the Warhammer 40k universe, embodying the martial prowess and dedication to the greater good that the Tau Empire values. The continued success and independence of the Farsight Enclaves are a testament to the enduring legacy of this enigmatic leader. Even before he was known as Shova, the young Violan displayed an exceptional aptitude for learning and excelling in the ways of the Fire caste. He fully absorbed and memorized every aspect of the Violash Fire Warrior Training Academy. Spending much of his time in the Mont'ka Battle Dome war simulations, he quickly developed a deep understanding of the Code of Fire and even deciphered the complex combat codes and signals used by his superiors. By monitoring their communications, he gained invaluable insights into their strategies and tactics. Despite being several years younger than most of his peers in the Mont'ka Battle Dome, Shaw consistently outperformed his classmates. His remarkable abilities did not go unnoticed, and during Shaw's graduation from the academy, the legendary Commander Putide was present to inspect the ceremony. Immediately after graduation and induction as a Shoslar, Shaw and his graduating class were deployed to a war zone to combat the Arakan incursion of the Western Vale. Shoslar Shaw made a significant impact on the morale and spirit of the Fire caste troops stationed in the Vale. His former instructors, who recognized the immense potential in the young warrior, closely observed him. However, not all of Shaw's former instructors were pleased with his rapid progress and perceived arrogance. Some, like Shokanthats, made sure that Shaw was assigned to the front lines in every deployment on the Western Vale. They believed that if he were truly a prodigy born for glory, he would rise to the challenge; if not, they would have rid themselves of a troublesome student. Despite the challenges and adversity, Shaw performed exceptionally well against the Arakan over the next 4 years as a Shoslar trooper, proving his skills and determination in battle. By the end of his tenure as a fire warrior, Shaw had become an influential figure within his unit, with the majority of the battle plans against the Arakan being based on his suggestions. His superior, the Cadre Fireblade, recognized Shaw's potential and was eager to test his mettle in the trial by fire. This trial would serve as a crucial test of Shaw's skills, determination, and character. However, the trial by fire proved to be a traumatic experience for Shaw. Many of the instructors still harbored resentment towards him and saw this as an opportunity to finally teach him a lesson. As a result, they placed Shaw in a near-hopeless live-fire war dome exercise, designed to push him to his limits and test his ability to overcome adversity. During the grueling simulation, Shaw faced numerous challenges and ultimately sacrificed himself to save a teammate. When he awoke from the simulation, he was informed that only the Shoslar who had died in the exercise would be promoted to the rank of Shos-Ui. This promotion signified not only his exceptional skills as a warrior, but also his willingness to put the needs of his comrades above his own. As a Shos-Ui, Shaw was finally granted the opportunity to pilot a battle suit. These advanced, powerful exoskeletons are reserved for the most skilled and experienced warriors within the Tau Empire, providing them with enhanced mobility, firepower, and protection. Shaw's promotion to Shos-Ui and his newfound ability to pilot a battlesuit marked a significant milestone in his journey as a warrior, and further cemented his status as a prodigy within the fire caste. Upon his promotion to Shos-Ui, Shaw was initially assigned to a broadside battlesuit team and sent back to the Arakan war front. There, he learned the basics of battlesuit command from the veteran pilot Shos Vriab-Lotai. Shaw experienced combat for the first time in a crisis battlesuit during the final action of the war, when Commander Dawnstone led the warriors of Violar in a decisive push to break the Arakan resistance. The extremely bloody battle that ensued resulted in Shaw losing most of his left leg. However, he demonstrated exceptional performance in the conflict and was promoted to the rank of Saznomi. As a leader, Shaw orchestrated the assault that ultimately eliminated the ruling Arakan Council, known as the Arakan Trinity. This decisive action proved to be the turning point that shattered the Arakan hold on the Western Vale, allowing the Tau to claim victory after the long and brutal war. However, tragedy struck during a boarding operation on an Arakan Cocoon ship led personally by Commander Dawnstone. As the Tau team infiltrated the vessel, they were ambushed by a swarm of Arakan skitterlings. In a selfless act of heroism, Shaw sacrificed himself to save Commander Dawnstone from the vicious attack. Shaw's bravery and determination in the face of overwhelming odds not only secured a major victory for the Tau, but also demonstrated the spirit of camaraderie and self-sacrifice that embodies the highest ideals of the fire caste. His action cemented his legacy as a warrior who consistently put the needs of his comrades and the greater good above his own well-being. To Shaw's surprise, he soon awoke in a med bay, where Commander Dawnstone revealed that the entire operation had merely been a simulation, another trial by fire. Shaw's exceptional performance during the simulation earned him a place as a disciple of the legendary Commander Putide, alongside fellow warriors Kais and Shossera. The training under Putide on the planet Daelith was grueling. Shaw, Kais, and Shossera were pushed to their limits as they were forced to survive the harsh conditions of Mount Kanji. Despite the immense challenges, Shaw was able to master every aspect of the Tau art of war under Putide's guidance. In his pursuit of excellence, Shaw took every opportunity to learn from the Earth caste about military equipment, attending numerous presentations and demonstrations. He was so dedicated to this pursuit that he risked being labeled Vashya, a term used to describe someone who straddles the spheres of influence within Tau society, a state of mind that is forbidden by the ethereals. Shaw's unwavering commitment to his training and quest for knowledge further solidified his reputation as an outstanding warrior and leader within the Tau fire caste. His actions under Puretide's tutelage not only strengthened his abilities but also demonstrated his dedication to the greater good and the unity of the Tau Empire. Farsight's first and greatest victories were achieved during the Arkunasha War. The Tau colony on Arkunasha found itself threatened by Wardok, led by the fearsome war boss Toothjaw. Farsight, then known as Oshova, was tasked with leading the Fire Warriors in a masterful defense against the invading Orc forces, which greatly outnumbered the Tau. The Orc crusade of violence known as Wardok appeared near Arkunasha without warning or reason. A strange solar storm erupted, creating odd symbols in the sky. When it subsided, Earth-cast observers discovered hundreds of energy signatures in the eastern void, each emitting immense radiation and heading directly for Arkunasha. Weeks later, the planet faced a full-scale Orc invasion led by warboss Toothjaw. The Orcs launched a massive assault, slamming giant asteroid fortresses into the planet's surface. The crude nature of the Orc attack actually benefited them. The Earth-cast's firing solutions, designed to destroy conventional fleets before reaching orbit, proved next to useless against the chaotic barrage of rock and debris. As more Orc craft crashed into the surface, Tau Hunter and Defender Carders scrambled to each impact site, only to be met by swarms of green skins emerging from the craters. By the time Commander Shaw reached Arkunasha's orbit, the planet had already been overrun, save for a few scattered units. The civilian population was besieged in their biodomes. Oshaw was shocked to find that the Orcs had made no preparations for Tau reinforcements, as he had yet to understand the Orc mindset. He focused his initial engagement on re-establishing supply routes and testing the Orcs' defenses, and soon realized that the largest Orcs seemed to be in command. During a period known as the Great Thinning, Oshaw had his stealth battlesuit teams eliminate the largest Orcs, setting off a chain reaction that caused the Orc hordes to rip themselves apart from within. Oshaw further exploited the situation by deciphering the Orc language, and using Earth-cast projectors to deliver guttural insults that the Greenskins believed were from rival warbands. Due to his ability to seemingly foresee the Greenskins' actions, Oshaw earned the moniker Commander Farsight. Despite Farsight's cunning tactics, the number of Orcs on Arkunasha continued to increase, and they were adapting to the planet's harsh sandstorms. These revelations forced Farsight to abandon his assassination campaign as morale among the Tau forces plummeted. Determined to understand his enemy better, Farsight conducted an in-depth study of Orc psychology, which he compiled into a work known as the Book of the Beast. This document was circulated to every cadre on Arkunasha. Over the next several years of fighting, Farsight gained a comprehensive understanding of the Orcs and adjusted his tactics accordingly. Teams of Fire Warriors drove Orcs into corners, where battlesuits would blast them apart, while Pathfinder teams executed devastating ambushes. These new tactics led to a series of battlefield successes, allowing the Tau to regain the initiative in the war. Farsight masterminded a major victory by ambushing and annihilating an enormous Orc vehicle column at the planet's equator. Meanwhile, Kroot mercenaries adapted themselves to fight the Orcs more effectively by consuming their dead and acquiring their traits. These combined efforts significantly weakened the Orc forces, reducing their numbers to a quarter of their former size. A major turning point in the war occurred when a large horde of Orcs attempted to break through Gowl's Gorge, and use a drill-equipped stomper to breach the Tau biodomes. Farsight managed to bottleneck the Orcs in the gorge, but the battle took a disastrous turn when it became apparent that the Orcs possessed force fields that protected them from all Tau firepower. Faced with this new challenge, Farsight realized that the only way to deal with the Orcs was to step inside their force fields and engage them in close combat, precisely where the Orcs wanted the Tau to be. This led to the most disastrous battle of the war for the Tau, as they were consistently outmatched in melee combat against the Greenskins. After several failed attacks, Farsight was forced to order a retreat. Following the defeat, Farsight met personally with Au'nva, who informed him that the Ethereals had decided to abandon Arkunasha over the next few years, evacuating both troops and civilians. Farsight was instructed to fight a strictly defensive campaign until this process could be completed. Despite disagreeing with the Ethereals' decision, Farsight reluctantly carried out the order. Over time, the Tau were evacuated from Arkunasha, marking a bitter conclusion to their struggle against the Orcs on the besieged planet. Surprisingly, the Fire Caste returned to Arkunasha only a year after their evacuation. In the Tau's absence, the Orc War had effectively self-destructed due to infighting and civil strife. This presented the Tau with a new opportunity to reclaim the planet and eliminate the weakened Orc forces. Armed with fresh troops and guided by meticulous planning, the Fire Caste launched a new offensive against the remaining Orcs on Arkunasha. They applied the lessons they had learned during their previous engagements, leveraging their superior tactics, ranged firepower, and knowledge of the Orc mindset to devastating effect. Possibly as a result of his ongoing battles against the Orc forces, Farsight developed a belief in the importance of close combat as a vital aspect of warfare, which sets him apart from most other Tau. This belief led him to become a renowned master of the Mont'ka, an aggressive tactic employed by the Tau forces that emphasizes swift, decisive strikes against the enemy. The Mont'ka is a strategic Tau military tactic, characterized by its focus on carefully planned, precise attacks aimed at eliminating critical enemy defenses or units in a single, well-coordinated strike. The primary objective of the Mont'ka is to cripple the enemy's strongest points of resistance, allowing the remainder of the Tau forces to deal with weakened enemy troops more easily and effectively. Pathfinder teams or Ghostkeel pilots play a crucial role in the execution of the Mont'ka. They are responsible for scouting enemy positions, gathering intelligence, and ultimately making the final decision to launch the attack. Their expert assessment of the situation ensures that the Mont'ka is executed at the most opportune moment, maximizing its impact and increasing the likelihood of success. Once the Mont'ka has begun, it is vital that the enemy sustains significant damage in order for the tactic to be successful. If the initial strike fails to inflict the desired level of destruction, a Tau commander will not hesitate to call a retreat, regrouping their forces to strike from another angle rather than risking the lives of their warriors in a futile effort. This emphasis on precision, efficiency, and adaptability is a hallmark of Tau military doctrine, allowing them to achieve victory even against seemingly insurmountable odds. The Mont'ka showcases the Tau's ability to exploit an enemy's vulnerabilities, turning the tide of battle in their favor through a combination of cunning, planning, and decisive action. During the Damocles Crusade, the Imperium of Man launched an incursion into Tau space, prompting the Tau Empire to call upon Commander Oshova to lead their defense. Farsight's presence on the battlefield had a significant impact on the morale of the Tau forces, as his tactical prowess and inspiring leadership emboldened the warriors under his command. During the campaign, Farsight had a near-death encounter with then-assault Marines Cato Sicarius and Juris Numita. Despite narrowly escaping with his life, Farsight vowed to take his revenge on these formidable adversaries. This personal vendetta served to strengthen Farsight's determination to protect the Tau Empire from the Imperium's relentless advance. As the Imperial forces eventually withdrew from Tau space, Farsight was tasked with leading a reclamation fleet to retake the lost Tau worlds. He and his forces methodically eliminated any remaining Imperial deserters and abandoned guardsmen, ensuring the safety and security of the reclaimed territories. During this time the Tau came under attack by his old adversaries, the Scar-Lord Space Marines, led by Acting Chapter Master Kylos. The Space Marines managed to breach Tau defenses and reach the key world of Violos, posing a grave threat to the planet and its inhabitants. Despite the formidable might of the Scar-Lords, Farsight rose to the challenge and employed his tactical genius to counter their every move. drawing on his extensive knowledge of space marine tactics and leveraging the unique strengths of the Tau forces. Farsight developed a strategy that would ultimately lead to the annihilation of the Scar Lords on Violos. The fierce and brutal conflict between the two forces raged on, with Farsight carefully orchestrating each phase of the battle to exploit the weaknesses of the Scar Lords. Through a combination of precision strikes, relentless assaults, and cunning traps, Farsight managed to whittle down the Space Marines and wear away their resolve. In the end, Farsight's superior tactics and unwavering determination proved too much for the Scar Lords to withstand. They suffered devastating losses, with 90% of their chapter destroyed in the failed invasion of Violos. The remaining survivors were forced to retreat, their hopes of conquering the world shattered by the indomitable will of Commander Farsight. Commander Farsight was selected by the Ethereal Council to lead a massive expeditionary fleet with the goal of restoring the Tau Empire's morale after the setbacks they had experienced. The first stage of the campaign involved Farsight reclaiming worlds that had been captured by the Imperium during the Damocles War. The task was made somewhat easier as the Imperium was distracted by the arrival of the Tyranids. After securing several planets on the far side of the Damocles Gulf, Farsight's forces encountered a colossal Orc fleet, so immense it resembled an asteroid belt. In a highly controversial move, Farsight chose to engage the Orcs rather than complete the reconquest of the lost worlds in the Damocles Gulf, marking the first time a Tau of any rank had ever disobeyed an order from the Ethereal Council. Working with their cast Admiral Coroli Mountain, Farsight developed a meticulous plan to annihilate the Orc fleet. They successfully devastated the Greenskin fleet in the Vorak asteroid belt. However, Farsight insisted on pursuing and eliminating every last Orc, possibly to atone for his failure in the Arkunasha War years earlier. As Farsight chased the Orcs across the Vorak belt, he encountered the flagship of Grog Ironteeth, the war chief of Alsanta. Ironteeth divided his fleet, sending one part to Arthas Moloch and the other to the nearby Tau-held world of Atari Voi. Farsight landed on Atari Voi to defend it and rally his forces, but Ironteeth unleashed a devastating asteroid shower on the planet's cities, killing millions of Tau. An Orc land invasion soon followed, utilizing salvaged Tau weaponry. Farsight's forces were saved by the timely intervention of an aircast defense fleet, causing the Orcs to fall back to the impact craters created by their asteroids. Farsight led his troops into the craters, only to find themselves caught in a greenskin ambush, which resulted in heavy casualties for his forces. Demoralized by the defeat, Farsight took on a more advisory role for the remainder of the battle. Fortunately for the Tau, the planet's defenders were eventually able to isolate and destroy the Orcs, although a fleet under Warchief Grog managed to escape. Despite the challenges and setbacks, Farsight's determination and tactical acumen ultimately prevailed, securing a hard-won victory for the Tau Empire. Farsight soon realized that he had once again underestimated the cunning of Warchief Grog. The Orcs struck at the undefended worlds Farsight had captured earlier in the expedition, and when he returned to his base of operations on Violos, he found the region embroiled in a full-scale war. As before, the Orcs had used asteroids as weapons, causing immense devastation to the Tau. Overwhelmed with frustration and anger over the repeated humiliations the Greenskins had inflicted upon him, Farsight retreated to his personal battle suit and disappeared for several months, meditating on the ocean bed of Violos to devise a plan to defeat the Orcs. Farsight eventually returned to command his forces, making a sudden appearance during a battle between the aircast and Orc aircraft on Tinekla. He immediately ordered all aircast pilots to override their consoles and release their propellant gases, creating a wall of volatile emissions that he ignited with his plasma rifle. A massive rolling flame engulfed the skies, and the Tau rode the wave of thermals to safety while the Orc aircraft were incinerated. Later, on the ocean world of Salashhay, Farsight collaborated with Earth-cast engineers to construct seismic nodes on the ocean bed, which created a tsunami that swept away the Orc fleet on the surface. On Lubgral, Farsight broke the siege of Tau spire nodes by having his fleet enter low orbit and use their maglifts to move the spire nodes. He then activated his seismic technology to cause a massive landslide that annihilated the Greenskin army. The spire nodes were lowered back down onto the new layer of Earth, and the planet's cities were operational within a week. Finally, Farsight returned to Violos and thwarted the Orc invasion by using artificial firestorms to sterilize the environment and eliminate the Orcs. After these series of defeats, Grog Ironteeth was isolated and ultimately bested in single combat by Farsight. However, the Orc threat did not end with Ironteeth's defeat. Over the next 10 years, Farsight continued to secure his holdings in the region and battle the remaining Orcs, demonstrating his unwavering determination and strategic prowess. Arthas Moloch was yet another Orc-held world that Farsight was determined to conquer. However, things took an unexpected and bizarre turn on this planet. At an 8-pillared temple, known as the Great Star Dais by the Air Caste, a disk of multicolored light began to rise into the sky while millions of Orcs on the planet's surface battled the Tau forces. The disk suddenly erupted in a gout of energy, revealing a swarm of horned crimson aliens that tore the Orcs apart with their black swords. Once they had finished with the greenskins, these terrifying creatures turned their attention to the Tau, assaulting them with streams of multicolored flames that mutated everything they touched into stone, water, or statues of screaming bones. Following these crimson diamonds, even more horrifying creatures appeared, including horrors and winged mantas, led by a monstrous winged, beaked entity. Appalled by the nightmarish scene unfolding before him, Farsight ordered a retreat as a rip in the fabric of reality formed at the location of the floating disk. Ignoring the desperate pleas of his commanders to flee, Farsight could not tear his gaze away from the portal. Within it, he saw a vision of 1 trillion terrible deaths, and he realized that he was witnessing a threat far greater than any the Tau had faced before. This harrowing experience shook Farsight to his core, causing him to suffer a mental breakdown and collapse into unconsciousness. The events on Arthas Moloch would leave an indelible mark on Oshova, forever changing his perspective on the dangers that lay beyond the known Tau space. Upon awakening, Farsight found the situation on Arthas Moloch to be critical. However, the Tau found an unlikely reprieve as the Greenskins, otherwise known as the Orcs, engaged the fearsome creatures emerging from the Great Star Dais. Seeing an opportunity, Farsight decided to halt the evacuation of the planet and confront whatever force the Tau had inadvertently unleashed. Farsight quickly launched a counterattack, facing 3 formidable winged beasts wielding brass axes and speaking in a guttural, painful language. Amidst their hideous cries, the phrase, "blood for the blood god," could be discerned, hinting at the nature of the creatures they faced. The Tau forces suffered heavy casualties, including the devastating loss of 2 ethereals, Aun'los and Aundm. This tragedy caused mass disorder within the Tau ranks, forcing Farsight to not only combat the approaching enemy but also maintain discipline among his troops. In response, Farsight devised a new battle plan on the spot, commanding all 3 active Tau battle groups to converge on his position. One unit would engage the remaining Orcs near the Great Star Dais, while another, equipped with battlesuits, would confront the new and terrifying enemies at the crackling disk. The third group was assigned to retrieve hexagrammatic medallions found at the temple. Farsight realized that bloodshed at the dais somehow empowered the creatures, so he ordered his troops to avoid spilling blood there at all costs. Any soldier injured would immediately withdraw from the dais. Farsight then instructed his flame-armed battlesuits to cleanse the dais of any remaining blood, driving the monstrous beings into a frenzy. As they charged towards Farsight, he picked up a mysterious blade he had discovered at the dais. Attaching the gathered medallions to the weapon, Farsight unleashed a potent blast of energy that sealed the portal, causing every one of the nightmarish creatures to vanish. However, when he wielded the weapon, he was momentarily overcome by an intense bloodlust. Following the devastating battle on Arthas Moloch, Farsight's forces had lost all of their ethereal leaders. Oshova began to suspect that some malevolent force had deliberately targeted them for elimination. Furthermore, the memories of what he saw within the portal continued to haunt him, fueling his growing unease and suspicion. After the incident on Arthas Moloch, Farsight returned to his established holdings on the far side of the Damocles Gulf. He secretly became highly distrustful of the ethereal caste, suspecting that they might be controlling the Tau through more than just charisma and wisdom, perhaps employing more sinister methods. In the aftermath of his victory, Farsight realized the threat of chaos and the fact that the universe was not the orderly, rational place described in Tau philosophy. He also believed that the ethereals, as a caste, knew something about this but had kept it from the Tau. Initially, Farsight thought that the ethereal leadership was simply flawed, and that the other castes would be better off seeking harmony with each other without their oversight. However, as he reflected on instances where obedience to the ethereals had been taken to illogical and foolish extremes, he began to see many actions taken under their guidance as deplorable and wrong. In addition, Farsight began to live far beyond the normal lifespan of a Tau. The inevitable conclusion that the ethereals' control extended beyond simple logic and loyalty to something darker drove Farsight to sickening panic. Heresies filled his mind, and he struggled with the potential consequences of sharing this knowledge. The truth could dissolve the Empire and drive the Tau back to the Morn-au, a fate far worse than the ethereals' rule. Unable to tell anyone this truth, but unwilling to pretend or forget, Farsight chose exile over obedience.
In our upcoming episode, we'll delve deep into the fascinating period of the Farsight Enclaves establishment and explore the pivotal arcs of Omen campaign. To ensure you don't miss out on this captivating journey, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for timely notifications. Join us as we uncover the mysteries and triumphs of Farsight's legacy.